Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are cracking the code on what it takes to absolutely ace a high-stakes technical interview for a data storage role. We're going to break it all down.
So, what is the secret sauce? Well, it's not just about rattling off facts. It's about how you tell the story. Think of this as our journey together, turning all that complex technical knowledge you have into a really confident, winning performance in that interview room.
Okay, let's dive right in. Look, every great structure has to start with a solid foundation. So first things first, we have to master the absolute core building blocks of the NetApp universe. This is non-negotiable. And it all starts right here with this one absolutely critical flow. You can think of this as the golden rule. It starts with physical disks, right? You group those into something called an aggregate. Then you carve out a logical volume from that aggregate. And only then can you present that storage to your applications as a share or a LUN. Everything else we're going to talk about is built on top of this. This table basically takes that flow and turns it into your core vocabulary. Disk, aggregate, volume, SVM, LUN. You have to know these cold. An interviewer is going to expect you to define these instantly. It proves you understand the why behind the architecture, that it's built from the ground up for things like flexibility and multi-tenancy. So now that we have this logical container for our data, how do we actually get it to the people and the applications that need to use it? Well, that brings us to the two main highways for serving up data, NAS and SAN.
And this right here really shows the fundamental difference. NAS, or Network Attached Storage, is all about file-level access. The easiest way to think about it, it's like a shared folder on your network. Simple. SAN, on the other hand, the storage area network, is block level. This is like giving a server its own dedicated, super high-performance hard drive that just happens to live on the network. I guarantee you'll be asked to explain this difference.
Okay, here's a classic interview favorite. They love to test your practical, hands-on knowledge by asking you to walk through a common process. And mapping a LUN is a perfect example. You have to know the logical steps. Notice the order. First, you need a volume. Then, you create the LUN inside it. Next, you have to define which servers, we call them initiators, are even allowed to see it. And finally, you map the LUN to that group. This is a total test of your procedure and your precision. All right, so you've nailed the basics. Now we get to the really fun stuff, the features that truly set ONTAP apart from everything else. Knowing these technologies inside and out, this is what's going to separate you from all the other candidates. Now, the key here isn't just knowing the names. It's understanding the purpose behind each technology. They all make copies of data, but for totally different reasons. A snapshot, that's your instant, oops, I deleted a file recovery point. SnapMirror, that's your lifeline, your disaster recovery plan, replicating data to a whole other site. And SnapVault is your archive, built for long-term set-it-and-forget-it retention. Knowing the right tool for the job is absolutely critical. Fabric Pool is a really hot topic in interviews right now. And honestly, it's all about one thing: cost efficiency. This is some smart technology. It actually watches your data, figures out which blocks are cold, the ones nobody's touched in a while, and it automatically moves them from your expensive, fast SSDs to much cheaper cloud storage. It's all about saving money without losing access to your data. Now listen up. Pay very close attention to this slide. This is one of those critical details, a classic gotcha question that interviewers just love to ask to see how deep your knowledge really goes. Fabric Pool's magic is designed to work with the speed of flash. That means it only functions on SSD aggregates. Do not forget that one.
So what's the difference between SnapMirror and Fabric Pool? I can almost guarantee you will get this question. And being able to nail this answer is the mark of a real pro. It's simple. SnapMirror copies your data to another location for safety, for disaster recovery. Fabric Pool moves your cold data to a different, cheaper tier for cost savings. One is a DR tool, the other is a storage efficiency tool. That's it.
Okay, knowing the theory is one thing, but what happens when the alert starts screaming at 2 in the morning? Interviewers need to know you can handle the pressure when things go sideways. Welcome to the troubleshooting gauntlet. And they will absolutely throw a real-world crisis scenario at you, just like this one. The app is down, volume is full, the phone is ringing, and everyone's looking at you. What's your first move? See, they're not just testing what you know technically, they're testing your thought process, your ability to stay calm and prioritize when the pressure's on. So the winning answer isn't to just panic and start listing off commands. No, it's to show that you rely on a structured framework, something like this.
It proves you're methodical, not just reactive. First, you check the status to confirm the problem. Then, you dig in and find the root cause. Only then do you take corrective action. And, crucially, you finish by thinking about how to prevent this whole mess from ever happening again.
Look, you don't need to have every single command and switch memorized, but you have to know the essentials, the ones for checking the health of your core components. And here's the pro tip that will make you stand out. Explain why you're running a command before you even say its name. Don't just say, I'd run volume show. No. Say, my first step is to verify the volume's exact state and see how much space is left. So to do that, I'd use volume show. See the difference? Context is king. Okay, let's bring it all home. We have covered a ton of tech, but on the day of the interview itself, all those great technical skills are basically useless if you can't communicate them effectively. This part is all about strategy. These final tips are really about how you present yourself. Don't just blurt out an answer. Take a breath and explain your thought process logically. Try to ground your answers in reality with real-world examples you've seen. And hey, if you're not 100% sure about something, that's okay. Just frame it honestly. Say something like, in my experience. It shows confidence and that you're focused on solving actual problems, not just memorizing a textbook. Always remember, clarity is way more valuable than trying to sound smart with complex jargon. And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. The goal of the interview isn't just to correctly answer a list of technical questions. It's about weaving those answers into a compelling story. A story that shows not just what you know, but how you think, how you solve problems, and the incredible value you're going to bring to that team. Your technical knowledge gets your foot in the door, but it's your story that lands you the job.